Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name's Mopey, and today I want to talk about my initial thoughts and experience with High Five Simulator 2.
You on?
I mean, Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm just getting my YouTube and Twitch journey started, so please feel free to either subscribe to my YouTube here or give me a follow over on Twitch. Come check out and hang out on the stream, twitch.tv/MopeyChameleon. Before we dive into my thoughts and experience of Dragon's Dogma 2 thus far, let me throw just a quick warning disclaimer out there. This is my first time playing any of the Dragon's Dogma series. I didn't play the original, so I'm kind of coming into this experience with a fresh set of eyes and really just an open mind for what the experience is that Capcom had set forth. Final disclaimer is that these are my initial thoughts and experience after I've hit about 35 hours in game last time I checked my Steam account, so it's not a full review of the game. I'm not going to be going over any story spoilers, really not reviewing the story at all. Just wanted to talk about the pros and cons, kind of what I'm finding thus far. Those disclaimers out of the way, the high fantasy settings, the environments, the atmosphere, the combat, everything just kind of drew me in. I had seen a little bit of Dragon's Dogma 1 gameplay on Twitch before, but not enough to where I have any context of really the story, what the game was all about for the original. So again, kind of coming into this with fresh eyes. So I picked up the game on Steam on March 24th, 2024, and I've been slowly playing through the game every day a little bit ever since then. I'm not looking to speedrun through the game or do any crazy long sessions. I'm just sort of chipping away at it 1 to 2 hours at a time. To start with, I'll just quickly notate that the character creator is fantastic. I think this has already been blown up by the internet enough. I've seen so many crazy characters being created, whether they're recreating other characters in video games or just going completely overboard with weird proportions, shiny skin textures, all this crazy stuff. There's all this nuance and small detail that you can craft into your character in the character creator. So the only thing that I noticed that I would like to see was maybe a few more hairstyle options. Otherwise than that, fantastic character creator. And yes, I did customize my pawn to look like God's favorite princess. So once I got through the tutorial sequence, which mostly just introduced you to the core movement and combat mechanics, I really got a sense of the scale and majesty of the game. Beautiful open environments that encouraged me to really forego the well-trodden path and explore. Every nook and crevice was just absolutely built into the design language of the landscape of this game. All the while during this experience, I was gathering resources, looting hidden chests, engaging in combat, completing quests, and unfortunately, absolutely fighting for my life with the inventory system, but we'll touch on that later. The audio in game is overall pretty solid. The combat sounds are very detailed and nuanced. The open world ambience hits just right. The music doesn't really stand out the same way some of the tracks from The Witcher would, or any of the tracks from Skyrim. Maybe I'm just a bit spoiled by Jeremy Soul's compositions. My biggest complaint with the audio thus far is the amount of chatter that comes from your NPC characters, the pawns.
There's a cave near here that you haven't explored yet. I found out about it in another world.
What does this say? A treasure chest. Shall we see if we can't make our way over to it? We have found a material.
Different combinations of materials result in different creations.
Combat. Let's talk about it just briefly. This is definitely one of the main focus points and selling points of the game, is the combat system. I feel like I can attest the combat system feels phenomenal to play. So far I've tested out the fighter, archer, warrior, thief, and trickster vocations. I believe there's a total of 16 vocations in total, so there's a very wide variety of gameplay options for you to choose from. I've already maxed out my fighter vocation. I would say archer would come in second for me thus far. I haven't played around with the magic classes just yet. The system really encourages you to try out all of the vocations at least once, which is a fantastic design decision. Allows you to not feel like you've made a decision and worked yourself into one playstyle where you can't come back from it. So again, combat, nothing but good things to say about it. Inventory management. To summarize this in one word, pain. All right, being a bit overdramatic here, but coming off of Baldur's Gate, which did a really darn good job of inventory management, I think this is the main point so far that I've run into that could really use an overhaul from Dragon's Dogma 2. I enjoy that items have weight, and I like that you need to find this balance between distributing items in your own inventory, as well as between your pawns that are journeying with you. In addition, along the way, you'll find golden beetles that increase the total amount of your carrying capacity. What I don't enjoy is the design language and choices for how you interact with the menu. So again, I might be being nitpicky here, but this is just how my brain kind of works and breaks down these things. Because believe it or not, you'll be spending quite a lot of time at merchants, buying, selling, managing your inventory and your equipment. Every time you have to change vocations, you need to change equipment because armor sets and weapons and shields, all that kind of stuff is going to be locked behind what vocation you have equipped. So your set of heavy plate mail armor that you use for your fighter class cannot be used on your major sorcerer class. There's no way to bring up all characters' inventory at the same time to quickly drag and drop items. You have to manually select each item, and then manually select how many of that item you want to move. Alright, some other rapid fire things that are either super cool and fun, or just very funny and frustrating. Picking up anything and everything feels fantastic. You can grab boxes, chickens, pigs, jars, barrels, enemies, even your own companions. After most encounters, your pawns will pause for a brief moment, allowing you to celebrate with either a high five or a fist bump. More games need some sort of interaction like this. Okay, at one point I did decide that I was going to attack and attempt to kill the guards in the capital city for scientific research purposes. This was the worst decision I could make. It went about as I expected. The guards were much stronger and more heavily armed and leveled than I was. I think I was probably level 7 or 8 at the time. Rather than killing me, the guards dropped my health to a very low amount and then pulled out a pair of shackles to arrest me. After awakening in a prison cell, I assessed the current situation and decided to break out and reunite with my party. No matter what I did, those guards seemed to have some serious beef against me and would proceed to kill my party on sight, no questions asked. I attempted to reload a previous save, but I then realized the only option was to reload the last save or reload from the last time you rested at an inn. The game does not allow you to have multiple save files or manage or recall those save files. All this to say, I couldn't use that specific entrance to the city anymore, and I did the only logical thing I could think of. I went into my Steam files on my computer and deleted the save data and created a new character. I was really only about 5 hours into the game at the time and really just didn't want to have an entire entrance and exit of the capital city to be unusable to me. I will say too, Capcom has since patched this ability into the PC version, so you can create a new save file right from the start menu, but at any rate, it felt a bit ridiculous that I couldn't talk to the guards, reason with them, apologize, pay a bounty, do something, other than just every time I would go through that entrance, I would be killed on sight. At one point, I was adventuring around and came across a tomb that I decided to explore. After looting a chest at the end, my party was ambushed by an absolute horde of zombies, which I really did not expect. It kept me on my toes and added a surprising element of horror to the game. To wrap things up here, I've really been enjoying my time with Dragon's Dogma 2. I really hope that comes through, is that it's been a good experience so far. The only worry that I really have right now is that the core gameplay loop of exploration, looting, and combat, I really hope that doesn't get stale. I will say I have killed so many goblins and would just like to see a little bit more variety of enemies in different environments. I'm seeing a lot of goblins and wolves around every corner, I'm not gonna lie. Again, I'm still pretty early into the game. I've just now gotten into a second zone of the game, another sort of biome where there is more variety. That's about all I've got for today's video. Let me know in the comments down below if you're playing through Dragon's Dogma as well, If you're planning to pick up a copy, I suppose my recommendation would probably be to wait until it goes on to sale, unless if you're dying to play the game, of course. I would love to make a part 2 of this video and wrap up my final thoughts after I finish the game, so keep an eye out for that video coming up. Thank you so much for watching this video and sticking around to the end. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.